weekend away and you had found this on your living room ceiling, painted on the ceiling, right? Most parents would probably freak out. They'd be angry, they'd be upset. But that wasn't the case for my great-great-great-grandparents. They came home to see this on their ceiling, and they were actually amazed by the artwork that they saw. They actually worked to preserve it over generations so that it still exists today. Today I'd like to tell you guys about this piece of artwork and its creation story and some of the meanings behind it. So as I said, it still exists today, and we can go see it anytime at my family's ranch house. I would say that myself and probably every single person that's visited the ranch house has spent time looking up at the ceiling, confused at why it's there, confused at how it got there, what it means, and all of that. I knew somewhat about the story, but not enough information, so I decided to interview some of my older family members to get what they know about the story and their points of view on it. The consensus was that in the 1880s, when my great-great-grandfather was 15 or 16 years old, his parents left for the weekend to go into town to get supplies for their ranch, which at the time was like a 3 or 4 day journey, so he was home by himself, and they tasked him with the chore of painting the ranch's wagons. With the leftover paint he had, he decided to put a mural on the ceiling, which seems really odd for most people in America because it's not very common here, but he was actually born in Switzerland and came over as a child, so that was very common practice in Switzerland, and we think that that's probably where he got his inspiration from. The ceilings in the house are about 11 feet high, so we also know that he must have had to create some sort of scaffolding or something to stand on that could be moved around the room and reach each corner of the painting. Now that you know about the creation, I'd like to tell you about some of the meanings. So a lot of these meanings are mostly guesses because we don't really know. It was painted in the 1880s, so it's hard to tell. We don't have any written documentation about it, so mostly guesses, inferences. But we believe that this picture on the right is the central piece of the painting. We believe it's supposed to be some sort of coat of arms. You can see the US, Swiss, and Italian flags, as well as a couple more that are kind of unidentifiable. There's some war weapons like axes, clubs, spears, crossbows, and the central element is the Swiss cross, which once again, he was born in Switzerland, came over, so that was a huge piece of his family history, and that's what he wanted to put as a centerpiece. Along the outside, you can see in the picture on the right is a border of diamonds and ovals that switch off, and each corner of the room has the little floral design with the bouquet and the little design. This painting now has been on the ceiling for over 130 years and preserved for that long, talked about for that long, so it's now a huge piece of my family's history. And it's the most impressive piece of artwork we have in a house that is full of a lot of artwork. At the time, it was created in secret, and while his parents were away, kind of like a fun activity, but it was turned into something amazing that's been preserved for this long. So although most child and maybe even teenager artwork may not be this extensive, I would encourage you to be open-minded. If your future kids ever decide to draw on the wall or paint the ceiling, don't be too hard on them because you never know, it could turn into something as valuable for your family as this piece of artwork has been for my family.